Hello everyone and welcome to Channel 2S. I'm your host, Second Soundwave, and today we're starting the build of the high-grade Avalanche Exia. How's this stand out? So if I wanted to, I could actually build just a regular old Exia using these parts. I would have to paint some things because you don't get some stickers. You don't get the sticker for the shield here, for example, but you can actually build an entire Exia with this kit. And I just noticed there's this funky little box kind of around the V-fin. Kind of weird. So like I said, today we're building the Avalanche Exia Dash. So this is a Exia, of course, and this is one of many kits that uses the high-grade Exia mold. And the funny thing about these is, like I just showed you, you can actually build a complete Exia out of most of them because the way they molded this old kit, every single piece for it is consolidated on these three runners right here, and because this is an older model, they didn't kind of cordon off the runners and gate them off in such a way they could isolate certain parts like they do on newer kits, which means that pretty much anything that wants to use any part of Exia will have to include every single piece of the kit. Which is kind of wasteful, but at the same time it is kind of cool because if for some reason you wanted to waste your money, you could get a big fancy kit like this and just build it as a normal Exia. But that would be dumb, so I'm not going to do that. So we have a bunch of those unpainted, just stock-built Dengeki Hobby sort of demo model pictures that we love so much. And the Amazing Strike Freedom with a kit I thought looked like ass for a really long time. And I have to say, seeing it like this, not really in person, but just seeing what the finished model is going to look like in these images has changed my mind on it because I think this actually looks really good. I mean, it looks great just standing there, and then when we look at it in action, it looks really cool as well. I'm liking the backpack way more than I used to. It just looks so nice now. When I saw this at first, it just looked ugly, and the way the backpack was built, it just looked like just a big old vomited up pile of Strike Freedom parts. But you know what? I think they actually did a pretty good job with this. I kind of want one, but at the same time, there is just too much crap coming out in March for me to get everything that I want. There's already like 5 to 7 kits that I'm planning on getting. So unfortunately, the Amazing Strike Freedom is going to have to get the axe. And then we have images of another March kit, and that is the Providence Gundam, which is looking really cool. It's really awesome. You can see there are a lot of panel lines here, so obviously this is not a kit that looks very good straight built. This is one of those kits that you just gotta line as soon as you build it. But it is looking very awesome. I've actually got a bunch of pictures of it here. I'm not sure how many of them I'm going to put up in the video, but I'm just going to talk about it for a while and try to just fit as many of them in as I can because there's too many of these for me to talk about them all individually. And there's nothing really particularly exciting, at least to me, being shown off in them, but they do show just a bunch of close-ups of the kit, so I'm going to keep talking and you can look at them. If they're being shown in fairly rapid succession, you can always pause on them if you want a closer look. And I'm just going to keep stalling for a little bit so you can keep looking at those pictures. I'm going to stall for just a little bit longer, and then we're going to move on to probably to the Barbatos Rex. Yes, we are. We are talking about the high-grade Barbatos Rex to start with, and here we can see it from the front. As you can see, it's a high-grade from IBO, so it's very plain looking in its color separation, unfortunately. There's a lot of missing apps on this. And then from the back we can see that even the tail itself is pretty much just a completely unpainted piece of white plastic. Although it does have that same bendy wire gimmick that the full mechanics version has, so you can swing the tail around in front, which of course does look very nice. And hey, good news! That scuffed up damage crap that I saw on these parts that I thought was worrying, turns out that just something that got on them in the manufacturing process because most of it's just rubbing off, so yay. So before I completely lose my train of thought, I'm going to talk about the weapons for the Barbatos Rex high grade because it looks like we finally have a high grade in IBO that actually includes a set of alternate hands. He's got those open clawing hands, he's got those fists. We kind of already knew about it, but seeing them all lined up like this in his kind of accessory loadout, it really should make me happy to see something that should be such a basic inclusion in every high grade kit, but with how much they've been skimping on the hands lately, it is very nice to finally see a kit that includes more than 2. And right on the heels of that, we have the 1/100 scale full mechanics Barbatos Lupus, and this thing is just looking awesome. It's basically the high grade, but it's more detailed. He's got his mace, it's big, it's heavy, so of course he does include that stand that we've seen before to hold it. And if we look at him from behind here, we can see the tail is molded in color, so it has that nice yellow stripe on it. And apparently it looks like that stand they included to help him hold up his 5-pound mace is also usable to hold up the tail, which is very nice because I have personally not had very good experiences with wire weapons. Every single one of the ones I've built so far, as far as I can recall, have been pretty crap. They just kind of get weighed down. They don't really hold their position very well. It's nice to see that they're including a stand with this one to help kind of alleviate that. And also here's a quick shot of the upper part of the inner frame showing you the new arm frame we have going on for this kit. If you're into that, you can go ahead and pause the video right now to check that out. Well, I hope I wasn't talking about anything important there because it is time to move on to the torso build of the Avalanche Exia. So, this is going to go pretty quick, or at least I'm not going to have too much trouble with this, I hope, because I have built the Astrea Type F, which is very, very similar to this, especially in the torso, so this should go quite fast. So we have these two pieces like this. They're going to go in here, and that was entirely off camera, wasn't it? So we're going to lock this in here, and then close this up, right? Yeah. Just the two poly caps, the two frame bits, so it's got a bit of an inner frame going on, which is kind of neat. And then we have this, which is just going to go down in here, and I might bring this light a little bit closer. And then we're going to take these two little red pieces, and we're going to snap these on the side of the abdomen. And then we're going to take this blue section, which is actually not the one from the original Exia. This is a different one that has a couple extra pegs on it, because we're going to be using those pegs to attach some of the extra weapons this guy has. So this is going to go right in here as normal, and there's a sticker on there that I pre-applied for convenience. And then this is going here, right? No, not there. Not yet, because I need to put on his little contact lens. So now we just clip these little yellow spikes in just up here. These are kind of like those little collarbone fins that pretty much every Gundam had from 00, and really only the Gundams from 00 had. And it was an interesting little design element that kind of helped set them apart visually. I'm going to keep them folded in for now, though, so they don't get broken off by accident. So I'm going to push this in here, and the torso is taking shape. I'm going to grab, which of these do I want to use on which side? Is there a left and right to these? There probably is, and I'm going to take a wild guess and say this one goes on this side. So these go together. This kind of gets locked in, and once you get that all together, this little piece goes in here just like this. So now I'm going to spread those little chest flaps out a bit so we can stick this piece in up top just like that. And once we close this all back up, we have what I believe is almost the finished Exia torso, because there's one last thing we have to make, and that is this piece here that goes on his back. So we have these pieces that stick in here, and there's no polycap in here, which means that these are going to get loose over time, practically guaranteed. And these are also the weapon holders, which means that I predict that once I get this guy together, his weapons are going to be constantly popping off of this little holder, because there's not a whole lot here to hold them on, unfortunately. But for now, that's the torso. And of course, this is a high grade, so the head is going to be very simple to assemble. We just put the faceplate over the head, then we grab one of the cheek sections, stick the head kind of in here, just find a way to work it in, just like that. And then there's another one that goes over the other side, just like this, right like that. And then these pieces go in the back here. There's just these little clear parts that go over the stickers here. And I like that they did that with the 00 kits, because it makes them less likely to peel off, especially since the stickers are pretty big, they're on flat surfaces, and they're underneath clear parts, so there's really not much of a chance of them coming off. And of course I did apply all of those black stickers you see to the kit beforehand to, again, save on time. But as much as I would love to continue the build, that is unfortunately all the time we have for tonight. So if you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like right about now. And if you're new to Channel 2S, basically what I do is I make all sorts of cool Gunpla videos. I make news videos like this thing you just saw. I make build videos like, again, what you just saw. I do unboxings and reviews. You can check those out as well. And if all that sounds cool to you, I would strongly recommend that you hit that subscribe icon right here that's popping up right about now. And if you want to see some of my other stuff that I have made, feel free to click these little icons you see popping up beside the subscribe icon. And as always, I'm Second Soundwave, and I'll see you next time.